First, I'm going to explain what a solution to system of equation really is, and then the substitution method and how that works, and then we'll go over a few examples together. Okay. When we have a linear equation with only one variable, finding the solution of that equation means finding the only value of the variable that would make the equation true. So for example, if I have 4 equal to x, which is a linear equation with one variable, the only value of x that would make this equation true is 2. And this is the solution of this equation. But when I have two variables, I can have more than one answer. I can have more than one solution. So if I have y plus x equal 10, I can have y equal 8 and x equal 2, and that would work. Or I can have y equal 5 and x equal 5, and that will work too. So I can have more than one solution. But then if I add another equation with the same variables, for example, x equals y plus 4, that would work for both of them, both of these equations. So finding the solution to a system of linear equations means finding the values of variables that would work for both of the equations. Okay. One way to solve for system of equations is substitution. The reason we call it substitution is that we're going to take one of the equations, solve for one of the variables, get an expression, and then substitute it to the other equation to solve for both of the variables. So I have 4 steps here for you on the board so that it's easier. So for example, in this example, at step 1, we're going to solve for one of the variables in one of the equations. So as you can see, my first equation is already solved for x. So I have x equal y plus 4. So step 1 is already done. At step 2, I'm going to substitute this one into the other equation. So in my other equation, y plus x equal 10, instead of x, I'm going to plug in y plus 4. So I would have y plus y plus 4 equal 10. So as you can see, I have only one variable in this equation. And in step 3, I can simplify it and then solve for that one variable. So to simplify it, I would have 2y, because y plus y is 2y, plus 4 equal 10. And this is an equation with only one variable, which we can solve. So minus 4, I would have 2y equals 6, and then I would have y equal 3. So this is one of the variables. So now that I have this variable, I'm going to plug it back into one of these equations to solve for the other variable. It is easier to do it for the first one, which is already solved for x. So in x equal y plus 4, I'm going to plug in that number. So I would have x equal 3 plus 4, which is 7. So my other variable is x equals 7. Okay, here I have another example. Why don't you try to do this and then we'll go over it together. Alright, here as you can see, again, the step 1 is already done for us. Y equals 3x is already solved for y. So this equation, in step 2, I'm going to substitute 3x instead of y in the second equation. So I would have 3x minus x equal 4. So moving on to step 3, as you can see, we have only one variable in this equation, and then we can simplify it. So 3x minus 1x is 2x equal 4. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x is 2. So I have one of my in step 4, I'm going to substitute, I'm going to plug in this variable in one of these equations to solve for y. So it's better to choose this one because this is already solved for y. So in y equal 3x, I'm going to plug in the 2, so I have y equal 3 times 2, then I would have y equals 6. Alright, here I have another example for you which is a bit more challenging. Let's go over it together. Here in this one, if you notice, we have to actually do step 1, unlike the other two examples. So we have to actually choose one of these equations and solve for one of the variables. I'm going to choose the second one because in the second one, a, the variable a, doesn't have any coefficients, so it's easier to solve for a. All I have to do is to subtract 4b from both sides. So minus 4b, I'm going to have a equals 6 minus 4b. So here I have, I already did step 1, so I'm going to move to step 2. I'm going to substitute 6 minus 4b instead of a in the first one. So in 3a minus 2b equal 4, I'm going to have 3 times 6 minus 4b minus 2b equal 4. And then moving on to step 3, I'm going to simplify it and then solve for b since the equation is only in terms of b. So I would have to distribute this 3. So 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times negative 4b is minus 12b. And then I have a minus 2b here equal 4. I'm going to simplify it again. So I would have negative 12b minus 2b would be negative 14b. So I have 18 minus 14b equal 4. And then I'm going to move the 18 to the other side so that I can isolate b. Minus 18 minus 18, I'm going to have negative 14b equal negative 14. Then if I divide both sides by negative 14, I'm going to get b equal plus 1, positive 1. So I have b here, and then I can move to step 4 and plug in this variable, this value in one of these equations. So I'm going to choose the second one. So I have a plus 4 times 1, which is b, equals 6. So I would have a plus 4 equals 6, and then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and I'm going to have a equal 2. So a is 2 and b is 1, and that is how we solve this equation. Alright, here I have another example for you to try, and then we'll go over it together. Alright, as you can see, again, in this system, we have to do step 1 again. So for step 1, I'm going to choose the first one because the second one is a bit more complicated than the first one. So I'm going to, it doesn't really matter if you solve for a or b, you're going to get the same answer, but I'm going to solve for b. So minus a from both sides, I'm going to have b equal 4 minus a. And then in step 2, I'm going to substitute this 4 minus a instead of b in the second equation. So I would have 2a minus 3. Instead of b, I'm going to write the 4 minus a equal 3. And then I'm going to, in step 3, I'm going to simplify it a little. So I'm going to have to distribute this 3 into this parenthesis. So that would be 2a minus 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 positive 3a equal 3. So I have 2a plus 3a, that would be 5a and then plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 on both sides, so I would have 5a equal 15. And then if I divide both sides by 5, I would get a equal 3. And then step 4, I'm going to plug in the 3 into one of these equations or this one. Notice that if we choose this one that we already solved for b, it will be easier to find b. So in b minus b equal 4 minus a, I'm going to have b equal 4 minus 3, and then I would have 1. So b is 1. Alright, here I have another example. Let's go over it together. This one is, the first equation is 3x minus 1/2 y equal 2, and the second one is negative 1/2 x plus 5y equal 19 over 2. So as you can see, all of the denominators in both of the equations are 2. So we can multiply both of the equations by a 2 so that we get rid of the fractions. So if I do that, I would have times 2 and then times 2. So the new system would be 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 1/2 y is negative y, because 2 times negative 1/2 is just 1. And then 2 times 2 is 4. In the second equation, 2 times negative 1/2 again is negative 1, so negative x, plus 2 times 5y is 10y, and then 2 times 19 over 2 is 19. So now we can go to the first step and then solve for one of the equations and one of the variables in one of the equations. So I'm going to choose the first one and then solve for y. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I think it's easier because the coefficient of this one is just negative 1. So plus y on both sides, and then minus 4 for both sides. So I'm going to have 6x minus 4 equal y. And then in step 2, I'm going to substitute this 6x minus 4 in the second equation for y. So I would have negative x plus 10 times 6x minus 4 equal 19. Now in step 3, I'm going to simplify this a little. So I'm going to distribute this 10 to both of them, to the parentheses. So I would have minus x plus 10 times 6x is 60x, and then 10 times negative 4 is negative 40, sorry, equal 19. Okay, so here I'm going to move this negative 40 to this side, so plus 40, and then 60x minus 1x, I would have 59x on this side, and then plus 40, I would have 59 here. So if I divide both sides by 59, I would get x equal 1. So this is for x, and then we're done with step 3, and then we can move to step 4, and then plug in this 1 for x in any of these two equations or this one. I'm going to choose this one because this is already solved for y, so it's easier. So I would have y equals 6 times 1 instead of x minus 4. So that's 6 minus 4, and that's 2. So my y is 2. So that's it for the substitution method. Thank you for watching this video.